Everyone knows a wagging tail means a happy dog. Everyone is wrong. A wagging tail means an emotionally aroused dog, which is not the same thing. And here is the part that almost no dog owner knows. The direction of the wag, whether the tail swings more to the right side of the dog's body or more to the left, carries a completely different meaning. One side means come over. The other side means stay back. In 2007, a team of Italian neuroscientists led by Giorgio Valortigara at the University of Trento and the University of Bari published a paper in Current Biology. They filmed 30 dogs while exposing them to 4 different stimuli. Their owner, a friendly, unfamiliar human, an unfamiliar cat, an unfamiliar dominant dog. Then they analyzed every frame of every wag and measured exactly how far the tail swung to the right versus the left of the dog's spinal midline. The results were striking. When the dogs saw their owner, the tail wagged predominantly to the right side. When they saw a friendly, unfamiliar human, the tail wagged moderately to the right. When they saw an unfamiliar cat, the tail wagged still slightly to the right. But when they saw the unfamiliar dominant dog, the tail wagged predominantly to the left. The same dog, the same tail, completely different lateralized response based on what they were looking at. The reason this happens is one of the most fascinating things in mammalian neuroscience. The brain is divided into 2 hemispheres. They are not identical in dogs and humans, and in essentially all vertebrates studied to date. The left hemisphere processes approach behavior, positive emotion, and familiar stimuli. The right hemisphere processes withdrawal behavior, threat assessment, and novel or stressful stimuli. And here is the key. The motor pathways cross. The left hemisphere controls the right side of the body. The right hemisphere controls the left side. So when a dog sees something it wants to approach its owner, a friendly person, the left hemisphere activates, which drives muscles on the right side of the body, which produces a tail wag bias to the right. When the dog sees something threatening, a dominant, unfamiliar dog, the right hemisphere activates, which drives muscles on the left side of the body, which produces a tail wag bias to the left. It is hardwired. The dog is not deciding. The dog is being broadcast. The next obvious question, do other dogs notice? In 2013, the same Italian team ran a follow-up experiment. They filmed naturalistic tail wagging from real dogs and then created stylized video clips of these wags, isolating just the tail motion, so that the only difference was directional bias to the right or to the left. They showed those clips to 43 other dogs while measuring heart rate, body posture, and anxiety responses. The result was unambiguous. Dogs watching a clip of a right biased tail wag stayed relaxed. Heart rates remained low. Body posture remained calm. Dogs watching a clip of a left biased tail wag became visibly anxious. Heart rates rose. They froze, stiffened, and showed clear stress signals. They were reading the directional asymmetry of another dog's tail and interpreting it as a social signal. No human-trained signal, no conditioning. Just one dog reading another dog's neurolateralization in real time. So directional bias matters, but that is not the only thing. The full vocabulary of tail communication is much richer. The position of the tail, the speed of the wag, and the involvement of the rest of the body all change the meaning. A high, stiff tail held above the level of the spine with only the tip vibrating signals confidence and arousal that can tip into aggression. That is not a happy dog. That is a dog telling you to be careful. A low tail held below the spine, tucked between the legs, signals fear and submission. A neutral tail held at spine level, wagging in a relaxed sweep, is a genuinely calm, friendly state. A fast, broad wag with the entire rear end of the dog swinging back and forth, the so-called helicopter tail or wiggle, but is high arousal, positive excitement, almost always directed at a familiar, trusted human. Now, here is a problem we have created for dogs as a species. Selective breeding has produced extreme variation in tail anatomy. Some breeds barely have tails at all. Pugs and bulldogs have curled, stubby corkscrews. Some breeds, like the Pembroke Welsh Corgi and some Australian Shepherds, are born with naturally bobbed tails. Many working breeds have historically had their tails surgically docked. And the tails that do exist range from the Greyhound's whippy whip to the Husky's plumed banner to the Beagle's stiff little flag. Studies suggest dogs with naturally shorter or absent tails have more difficulty signaling clearly to other dogs. A 2008 paper by Stephen Lever and Tom Riam Chen at the University of Victoria used a robotic dog model with interchangeable tails. When the robot had a long tail, real dogs approached it with confidence and read its tail signals correctly. When the robot had a short or absent tail, real dogs approached more cautiously, often hesitating and looking confused. In other words, breeds whose tails have been engineered out of clear visibility are at a measurable communication disadvantage with other dogs. One critical safety note for any human who interacts with dogs. A wagging tail is not consent to be approached. It is not always friendly. Many dog bites happen to people who saw a tail moving and assumed the dog wanted contact. A dog with a stiff high tail wagging and fast tight arcs is in a state of high arousal that can easily flip into a defensive bite. The tail is moving because the dog's nervous system is highly activated, not because the dog is welcoming you. To read a wagging tail correctly, you have to read it in context. Look at the height of the tail, look at the breadth of the wag, look at whether the body is loose and wiggly or stiff and braced. Look at the ears, the eyes, the mouth, the weight distribution. The tail is one channel of communication. The dog is broadcasting on many. So the next time you watch a dog approach someone, watch the tail with new eyes. Is it leaning right? That is a positive signal. The dog is comfortable. Is it leaning left? That is a withdrawal signal. The dog is uneasy with the situation. Both dogs are wagging, both dogs are aroused, but only one of them is happy to see you. The dog has been telling you for thousands of years. We finally figured out how to read it. Right side, friend. Left side, watch yourself.